You're on with Big J. You know what time it is. Let's talk sports, news, and information. Hey, this is breaking news, and I want to talk about it. What I try to do is sit back in the cut and wait till everyone else talks about it and listen to it before I give my opinion unprofessionally. But here's my opinion with the situation with LeBron James and Miss Poindexter. Here's my opinion because there's no validity to it yet, no police statements or anything. Okay? So here's my opinion. This young lady told and said a lot of things that we have to back up and not look at the shock value first, but you have to take what she said, dissect it, and put it back together to understand where she's coming from. When we look in the world of sports, we must identify and understand at the top of the sports game, economics, and the physical game itself, LeBron James, his name sits at the top. There's something in the world called personality disorder. And most times with people with personality disorder, they get stuck on something. It's always someone that they're either jealous of, that they would like to be with, or that individual has notoriety. You can go look this up. It's called the dark triad. And what these individuals do, they live in a state of desiring to be like or to be a part. Hold on one second. Or to be a part of what's going on in that individual's life, whereby they take that individual and make them a blanket around them and try to actually wear their lives. But what they have to do before they can become that person, they have to slander their name. They have to basically have the public look at them from a negative perspective to try to take over who and what they are. That's personality disorder. They can't help it. All right. So some people it's called narcissism. When you listen to her talk, all I heard was a narcissist. Now I could be wrong. Am I saying there's no validity what she was saying? That's not what I'm saying. I said from my studies and my research, what I heard was a narcissist. But here's where the hurt and the shame comes from. I'm not going to be on long. During her particular aspect of talking, she said something that was so important, and I have not heard anyone talk about it yet. Let me back up for a minute. She said something that was critical, and I hope that you catch this. She said, I am a hermaphrodite. Do you understand what that means? It's incredible that on this show, I talk about so much, and yet people miss it when these things begin to happen. What's going on with you, Nine? And so many people miss it. But you have to understand, in order to become who you want to be, you have to discredit that person first. So in her mind, she could never be LeBron James unless she discredits him first. Then, after discredit him, then she would try to listen. She would try to take over his personality. But watch this. She tells you what her issue is. She says that I am a hermaphrodite. Do you want to know what a hermaphrodite is? We did it on this show. I don't know if you remember. Now, let me pull it up because this is critical that you understand this young lady. If you don't see this, you'll never get it. You'll miss the whole thing and understand where's the shame and what it is that she's going through in her life. Okay, here we go right here. We're going to go to Wikipedia. Let me see what 9 says before I go to Wikipedia. I want to be respectful. I'm going back over here. 9 says, one of my workers is a hermaphrodite. Thank you very much. And 9, while you're in the room with this man, please allow the audience to understand the pressure and what a hermaphrodite goes through. It's just not something that a person wakes up every day and they're living comfortably. These individuals from the turn of the century have suffered because they have to hide their identity because they're not able to say, I'm either man or a woman. They're both born with both genitalia. And did you know that that is the most stressful episode in life where you wake up every day and you don't know who and what you are or what you should be? Then watch what she says. She said, my boo, my girl, I guess she said Beyonce, is a hermaphrodite too. See, people wasn't listening. What most narcissists suffer from is shame. And when they're shamed to get out of it, they need to be validated as someone else. So what they do, they begin to tear the reputation down of someone important and begin to transform and identify themselves in that way. Thus you hear Beyonce. Thus you hear LeBron James. Come on, you guys got to get this. You got to understand what this young lady is doing. She is having a meltdown. And when in her meltdown, watch this. If you have certain kids, right, and you give kids a certain drug called Ritalin, what Ritalin does, it makes you focus on the thing that's before you. And if she was a basketball player and great at what she did or does, and she begins to focus on that, on the other side of what everyone talks about is would be Kobe Bryant. But since he's gone, the biggest player would be who? LeBron James. So in her mind, in order to get where she wants to be, she has to discredit him. Watch this. In order for me to take his personality over, I have to discredit him. And everyone has to know that he did this to me. All these individuals are so clever. They can create a story that you've never seen before. They can make up something. Now watch this. The whole community now, LeBron James have never gotten in trouble. Everybody's now, watch this. His name is about to be dragged through the mud because individuals can't sit back and identify what's going on. They're about to drag him through the mud. Man, this is something very deep. And let me close this out for a minute. And I hope people are getting this. It's very deep. 9 says, it put me in an awkward position. I really didn't know how to address the person respectfully. D-Mac, amen. Totally, 100%. But watch this. In college, I did a study, and we did a study about hermaphrodites, right? And the thing that tripped me out and blew me out the water was that at the turn of the century, parents were making the decision for their child. And the child, when that child grew up, the parents had a surgery, and the parent made the child a boy, but when the boy really wanted to be a girl. So what kids were doing, they were committing suicide because their parents were making a decision for them. There were some boys who wanted to be a girl. There were some girls who wanted to be a boy. And do you know what happens when that mental state has been altered and no one has ever addressed it or dealt with it in life? You have individuals who grow up with personality disorders. And the only thing that they can accomplish and go after is the one who is at the highest in their life. Since she was a basketball player, she won a championship in the WNBA. She won the MVP award in the WNBA, just like who? LeBron James. So who would be in her eye? Who would be the one sex trafficking? LeBron James. Why? I need to take him over. I need to be him, and I need you to see me as such. This is why she said, I don't run with him, but yet he sex trafficked me. Yet he cut my hair, but I don't run with him. But then she goes back to say, I'm an hermaphrodite. What that really means is I'm struggling in who and what I am, and there's no one to help me. So I've been missing for 2 years. She's looking for something. And here's the thing. There's so many people in this world ignorant who don't understand what these individuals are going through. First, let me say it again. In order for them to achieve your success, they have to drag your name through the mud. It wouldn't be Kevin Durant at this time. He's still playing and he's not the man. It wouldn't be anyone else in the NBA. But who just made a movie 2 days ago that came out? Who's at the highest of the game? Guess who? LeBron James. So guess who had to be attacked? LeBron James. His name after today will never be the same because there's idiots out there who's going to believe everything she said because they don't understand the psychosis of the human mind and how it works and how it exists. I said there's something called the dark triad that deals with psychopathy. Psychopathy, yes. Then there's something called Machiavellianism. Then there's something called narcissism. And if you don't know what these things are and how they operate, you will give over to these lies and to these criticisms, and you will end up destroying a person not even knowing it. And that's what she's doing. She's not aware of what she's doing. That's why her statements are altered and they're back and forth. This and that, because she does not know what she's doing. Let me read a couple of comments. Let me go in here. 9 says, I think we need to see and hear further development before We choose, and what I'm doing, I'm not choosing a side. What I'm doing, I'm giving you the true narrative because we only see one side right now, and that's her side. We don't see LeBron. I'm not speaking for her or LeBron. I'm speaking for what I heard. She said she was a hermaphrodite, and that's very painful for some women or men. For you to have both genitalia and you don't know what to do. Um, Let me see what this young lady says. Why won't you retell it from her truthful self as she has said it? I believe her, sir. She was fine all the time. You sound crazy, man. And that's okay. You're entitled to that. You're 100% entitled to that. I'm not on LeBron James' side. What I'm saying in America now, there is the rise of personality disorder. When I first started my show, I said I want to hold my judgment until we hear the truth. But what I do know for a fact is that there are individuals who are suffering from narcissism and personality disorder who create these mirages and these things because they can't help it. Let me go back over here, see what this person says. Okay. Human trafficking out of Ohio hub. I believe I know it. I mean, my wife, we study human trafficking. We go to classes. We try to help people. Yes, that part we believe. That's not what I'm saying. Some of you are still think I'm against the young lady. No, I'm not. I'm trying to put together a puzzle so you will understand. This is what she said if you go back and listen, but no one wants to deal with it. She said, I am a hermaphrodite. Do you understand what that means? She's born with both penis and vagina. Listen to me again. At the turn of the century, parents made the decision for their children, and their children were killing themselves because it was such a hard thing to live with. If you think that's an easy thing to live with, and you're walking around with both, and someone's going to make a decision, then you what if you fall in love with a man, but you have to hide that you have the same tool? What if you fall in love with a woman, but you got to hide that you have the same tool? So do you understand what the pressure that will cause? Some of us are looking at the wrong thing as though I'm jumping on her. No, I'm not. I'm on her side. I'm on her side. And the reason I'm on her side is because I know these things from a fact because I've studied them. Dave Chappelle, FYF said Dave Chappelle real accused LeBron James of that. Hey, and that's what I'm saying is Lamont, I'm not on her side, his side. I'm on the side that I listened to her cry when she was speaking. And that's when I'm coming out to her defense and her support. But at the same time, we have to look at the same narrative to help her to see what's wrong. If she dealt with a counselor right now, he's going to dissect every word. Yes, I've studied sex trafficking, human sex trafficking. My friend and his wife does plays with human sex trafficking. We're totally against it. We're totally against any child being molested, hurt, or harmed. But what I'm saying, there was a reason she said she was a hermaphrodite. Why would I eat a bologna sandwich and tell you I got a jelly sandwich unless I want you to know something wrong with it? Let me see what he said. The way she was born shouldn't disrespect her story. That's not what I'm saying, Nine. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, I'm going to say it one more time. Let me read this one. Her and Beyonce, her mother, Tyler, the creator, is her son. Let me go back to this again. And I don't want to be funny, but I want to be real. And let me tell you why I want to be real. I'm going to say it again. Personality disorders, narcissism is out of control and finally being exposed. This has nothing to do with the young lady's story. What I'm saying, there is a possibility, that she's suffering from certain things, and those things need to be addressed. And if that's the case, if LeBron James did it, get the police investigating right now. Get his butt in jail. If he did it, bring the ones who know about it and get him in jail. But after it's over with, there needs to be a community to still help this young lady because she's crying out. But for some reason in this country, we're so willing and fast to kill someone without knowing the truth. And even after the truth is exonerated to be true or false, she still needs help. That's the ticket I'm on. What does her being a hermaphrodite have to do with the accusations? That's why they traffic her. She sought out more money. Wow. Okay, I can respect that. That's your opinion. I respect it. Whatever you feel and want to say on this show, you have that right. All I'm saying is I agree with you, but why did she mention it? If it had no bearing, no balance, why mention it? If it didn't mean anything, why mention it? She did an interview after she had went missing in 2020 and didn't mention any of this. Hold on, D. Come on, come on.
Going on, bro? Hello? Testing, 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 testing. Hello, hello. Check. Texting, testing. Testing.
Charge my phone.
And I want to give the narrative to the people that is right. And that's why I said today is nothing but my opinion. This is the court of opinions. All right. So, everyone, thank you. Don't forget to go by our podcast. Do me a favor, subscribe to our channel because we're going to bring back breaking news as soon as it happens. If the authorities are involved, we're coming back on because I'm here in LA so I can get firsthand information. I'll call a couple of police stations just to see what's going on, if there's any validity to it. And if not, then we all need to get together as a community and support this young lady. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and what I'm trying to do, man, I'm trying not to go that way because believe it or not, I understand what you're saying. Listen, man, listen. And what you're saying is this: we do live in a world to a lot of people don't know what's going on. It's so unfortunate. There are things now that's happening from the mental side of society that a lot of people are just not privy to. They don't understand. And because they don't understand, it's so difficult trying to get them to be a part of what I'm saying. And that's the difficult part because you have to deal with there are levels of mental health at every level. But if you don't know what it looks like and how it evolves and what's going on, we're going to be in the same condition and in the same situation. That's why I'm saying it's important. That's why we know what's going on. So I'm like DMAC, I'm going to wait until I can come back with more information that's not the court of opinion. Nine, you have anything to say, brother?
This is, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now a little bit.
Okay, okay. This is why the story is very interesting to me. Remember when Delonte West went crazy?
Facts.
What was he accused of?
um, Sleeping with LeBron's mama.
Okay, you know what? I had a conversation with somebody, and I was like, man, something not right about after this accusation. This guy went crazy.
Right,
I thought it was something deeper into
right,
that. And now I
right,
hear this lady speaking out, and now she's so called crazy again. Two
right.
crazy people in a row attached to him. For
Wow.
me personally, that's a little bit more than coincidence.
Right. And see, that's what we wanted to do today. We wanted to present two sides, more than two sides, so we can all come together and dialogue to get different opinions until the court of facts come back and not the court of opinion. Go ahead, Nine.
Yeah, and it's just weird to me. We always so quick to write off the the victim and always protecting the so-called violators. And I'm not one to do that. I would rather hear a little bit more.
Because here's the thing, Nine. It's not just about the violators. What happened today? We live in a society to where mental health is out of control. There are some people who have not done anything, and there are some people who have convicted them or said they did something. There's a bunch of people in jail who never did anything. So now today, because mental health is out of control and people are losing it, we have to be very open minded to hear both sides because we cannot make a choice or a selection until we hear all the facts. I remember Joe Friday, ma'am, nothing but the facts. Go ahead, Nine.
And everything also should be case by case.
Facts.
So a lot of people lie, a lot of people tell the truth. Sometimes the good guys win, sometimes the bad guys also win. And years later you find out, man, that person was guilty, but it's too late,
Right.
you
Right.
know? And that's why I would rather lay back. But something smells right here with this one. Something really, really smells. And I can't just jump to discredit her, just because the names she called out, and we know there's a lot of shady dealings with those people names she called out. And that's why I would just want to sit back and wait a little bit, but I'm not gonna say one way or the other, but I'm open to hear more.
Well, we're starting to see things now because you have Oprah Winfrey, who complained her entire life about being molested by her uncles, her brother, and all those people. But then later on, she's now being caught in sexcapades, orgies, and other things. Her and Gail with some of these people who have seduced, molested, and done things to kids. Hollywood is big. You understand? So she, as the individual mentioned before, she could be confused in trying to put the pattern of behavior together because so many things happen. But then I have to listen to my big man again. All these kids to where he said, you know what? Hey, the stories don't collaborate and they're not tying up together. So what do we do? That's what I'm saying. We have to be very critical on how we look and deal with from the court of opinion. Go ahead, Nine.
You know, as I was coming around about Oprah school, and now we're hearing the same thing might be going on at LeBron school. Why are these large figures so interested in these schools? I mean, it's so going on, and we're just not trying to tie it together, but it really really smells,
Yeah, but I'm
you
gonna tell you
know.
what's gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen because we as a people are continually failing. The federal government, they're looking for these opportunities. They're looking for the opportunities that we hear with Kwame Brown and Hassan going back and forth, and everyone else going back and forth. The government is waiting for the wrong person to slip up and say the wrong thing, and you haven't seen fallout yet. Fallout is coming. It's just beginning. And if there's any validity to this young lady and what she's saying, you haven't seen the magnitude of the earthquake that's going to hit this situation. If LeBron James had anything to do with it, you're about to see a fallout as never before. I'm telling you.
And I totally disagree.
You don't think so?
No, the smear campaign is already going on her name, so she easy to wash away. Dwayne Wade already came out and say she crazy.
No, but see, here's the
You know,
thing.
so
We we have to remember, Nine, though, we have a group of athletes who are going to stand with each other. And as we're seeing now, regular America is not standing with the athlete. Those are individuals who are tied by economics. Everyone who is not tied by economics, they're going to stand by that lady's side. You know what? Because they've been victimized. We have women who've been raped. We have kids who have been done wrong, molested, and taken advantage of. So individuals now who are not part of the corporate part, which is basketball and other things else, no, they're not going to go to their side. So it's all going to change. Malcolm
and
said they
why
use. Go ahead, Nine.
I disagree because the names she's been calling, ooh, that's some very very powerful names,
Right, but
and
watch
that
this. But watch this. We all know that Beyonce was her alter. Do we all know what an alter ego is? An alter ego is something that's used in place of the super ego, which the ego cannot control, whereby you have the id. So in that case, it's talking about demonic worship. And I'm not going to go into talking about the Illuminati because I want to live a little bit longer. But there's some things that we need to become versed at, and because we're not versed at certain things, we can games can be ran on us easily. Listen, what all these kids say. Malcolm said they will use one of us. They will kill one of us to say it was one of us. Man, you just spoke a mouthful right there. You just spoke a mouthful. See, we have to wake up and get that there's something really going on in America. And that is true. There are individuals who are being used on YouTube to cause collaboration confusion. And what that's doing is it's being used. How do I know? Because the amount of money that individuals are earning, that they're making, this is allowing certain people to do and say certain things against other people. It's never been this bad in this country to where men can't agree or get along. It's almost worse than it was during the time of slavery where we had the house nigga versus the field nigga. It's out of control. But what do we do? I don't know.
I
I
got
don't know, but
I have a very interesting question for you.
mhm.
What is the Illuminati?
I don't even know. I'm gonna say it like that. I don't know, but what I do know is that it's supposed to be some type of demonic control or system of control to where you can get in by blood in, but not blood out. That's what I was told. If there's anybody in the room can say something, let me know. Now here we go with
Okay.
someone else. He said, let me say this. Elijah Reed says this. Where is the proof of her being married to Beyonce? She said the paperwork on the internet. Who got it? The one thing could solve all this. And like I said before, Elijah, I don't think anyone heard it. And I said it before. We're going to have to start in this country being and understanding what personality disorder is. If not, you're going to start seeing more individuals at a higher level in life taken down because of disorder. D-Max said, Maxwell is not dead. I agree. A lot of these things are still existing. And this is the point I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with the young lady. But as everyone says, there's two sides to every story. Don't tell me someone texts you with one side, but you don't know what the other text said. Don't tell me you were driving down the street and you saw someone, but they were on the same side of the street. No, they were on the other side. So there's two sides to every story. And this story has to be carried out. And the balance of this has to come into fruition. And when it does, if it does the way I think it's going to go, in my personal opinion, we're going to see exactly what personality disorder looks like now. Remember, I said when a person wants to achieve and get to a certain level of life, they have to find the person who's had the most success in that area. Then they have to defame that person's name or character to try to take them over. So we have Beyonce and we have LeBron James. Again, that's my opinion. And I appreciate everyone else's opinion with our YouTube court of opinion because it just says this is the way we see it, but there's been no legality behind it yet. People are so quick to quick to begin to dehumanize and speculate. That's toxic behavior. 100% D. 100%. 100%. But this right here, it's not going away. And the unfortunate thing, this is going to
But
play out bigger. Go ahead, D. Go ahead, Nine. Go ahead, Nine.
I got to go back because you mentioned something that to me is very illogical. Because
Talk to me. Let me hear it.
you said you don't want to talk about the Illuminati because you want to whatever.
Let me read what all these kids
Man,
said. Maybe he will answer it because I'm being honest with you.
I'm
I
trying
don't
to
know.
get behind what
Let
is
me.
the Illuminati.
I'm finna read this right here. Nine.
I need to get an understanding.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard of Masons and Eastern Stars? Oh, he left for some reason. I hope he comes back because I want to deal with that. Whatever we know about the Illuminati is the opposite. We can't call these people so powerful and secret. But everybody on YouTube knows how they work. That's not logical. And that's what I'm saying though. All these kids, there is a different level of understanding for everyone about everything. With intimacy, there's a different understanding and level for everybody else. Everything Nine, if you come on back in Nine, everyone has a different understanding. But when it comes to the court of law, there's ways that the defense and that the prosecution can find truth out. D-Mac says, yes, my mom was an Eastern Star. D-Mac, let me ask you a question. With your mom being an Eastern Star, could she share the secrets of Eastern Stars? Because I know friends who are Masons and they won't tell you anything. They won't tell you anything. I know something about Eastern Stars, the women riding the goat or the sheep. I do know that much about it. But what I'm saying, the Illuminati, does it exist? I believe it does. That's my opinion. But do I know about it? No, not at all. So they're not a secret society, D? Because I was told their chapters were all based on secrets. So then I was lied to. See what I'm saying? So we can't take everything with a grain of salt because someone told me that the Masons and the Eastern Stars were just another form of the Illuminati. You know what I'm saying? So this stuff is deep. this stuff is deep. Well, most of the individuals don't know that our founding fathers were Masons. And we don't know where Masons were or what they are. If you go into Washington and you go into certain of those places they built, you can see the handiworks of Masons. Most Masons were carpenters and individuals who used their hands. So, but with the Illuminati, what we see is the effect in the entertainment industry. Masons use their hands, they build things. Illuminati, they do things in the entertainment industry. DMAX said on a lower level, they don't really know what they are involved in until the 33rd level. Wow, that's deep. Okay, so then we have here, let me read this one. All these kids, facts. We don't know. We only know what people tell us 100%. And until the court of law comes in on this situation, it's just court of opinion. And with court of opinion, that's why I opened up today for us to dialogue. So we can dialogue about all this information. But nine, did you hear what we were saying about the Illuminati? Okay, I'm gonna say it again. The Illuminati is more so the entertainment. I've seen Janet Jackson come on stage one day and she did this. What that means, I don't know, but she did it twice. All right, she did it twice. Okay, thank you. D said he's holding his opinion. I agree with you 100%. But when you have Masons, Masons deal with building and architect and certain things like that. They were a group of men who were standing together based on their fundamental opinions. Go ahead. Anybody else? Go ahead, Nine. Go ahead, Nine. So listen, we want to say thank you for everyone and to everyone who came on. Stay tuned to our channel. You can also go back to Deacon Mac's page because he's going to be bringing you update. The young man to where I just put his name on the screen, go subscribe to his page because we are a team. We work together. He's going to be giving you updates. And when those updates come, we're going to go live. It's more than Masons. It's skulls, crossbones, you're right, and other secret groups. And that's what people in this country don't understand. That's right. Watch, let's see what this says. Michael Cook, how does the two get mixed up about masonry, though,
Okay.
if they're just builders? And that makes a lot of sense. Mike, can you tell me what you really mean and express that for us? Yeah, because I agree. I want to hear that. How does the two get mixed up about masonry, though, if they're only building? Yeah, but it was just more than building. It was politics involved with building. But you have to realize these individuals at that particular time, coming out of 1777, coming out of Britain, when they rebelled because taxation without representation, and when they left Britain and formed the 13 colonies, these were all educated men who came together under the umbrella of creating a secret society so those things could never be or never exist again to where they can be overturned by a government. That's why they created democracy. I hope that helped. I don't know. But it's more than just building. When I say building, I'm saying building from a political and economic perspective also. And that same thing goes on with Illuminati. But I would love to hear more from you, Mike. Let's see what he says right here. You got one side saying Freemasons learn secret knowledge, and then you have Freemasons that building things. You're right, Doc. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. Unapologetic black man said, I think it's some truth in what she says, what she's saying. And that's the thing. We all have an opinion to think what we want. That's why I said this is the court of public opinion. But when it comes to the court of public fact, that has to go through the legal system. And I wonder why she's not doing more of that. Because if you've been kidnapped for 2 years, that's a major federal case. And that should be dealt with right now. All these kids said, in my opinion, they put out information to throw us off. All all I'm saying is we can't call these people powerful, but they are letting people put out content on their platforms. They monitor YouTube. That's what I'm saying. 100%. Thank you very much. They do. They're saying things, but what I'm saying again, something is coming very soon and it's going to hit. And they're allowing a lot of this stuff to go on, but something is going to happen. Watch this. I learned this when I was in college also, and I'm not saying college entitles me to anything, but they said this when it came to criminals back in the day. They didn't call criminals murders and all that. They called them mental health because what they wanted to do was study them and study why they did the things that they did. So when I got in college and I learned sociology and that became my major, I began to understand and study groups of people why they did what they did. But what I'm seeing here, what's important is that everybody's saying the truth and everybody is saying the truth. We have to look at it. Go ahead, Nine. Here we go back with Mike Cook. Yeah, YouTube is different now. They hide all the good channels like this one. Come on, bro. You're telling the truth, man. You're telling the truth because you know why? Because it is more. And watch this. A part of something. We hold these evidence to be true, and nobody wants you to have the truth. Right? You hear what he said, Deke? I didn't know y'all called them. They called them brick masons. Yes, man. Y'all own some deep stuff here, man. You're not gonna get a lot of this stuff like other people said. You know why? Because it's just not me. I don't want to bogart because I'm learning something from everyone here tonight. I'm learning, and it's amazing that we're learning. Nine, go ahead, man. You there? Yeah. I'm not saying again. I'm like DMAC. I don't agree, and I'm not saying I disagree with the young lady, but we're gonna bring you up to date information, and it's not gonna be based on love or like for LeBron, based on love or like for the victim. But we want to see how it's gonna play out in the public of facts. Mike said, people are waking up though. Millions were tired of confused corruption. Well, Mike, I'm gonna tell you something, bro. I see confused corruption online on YouTube every day. And DMAC, myself, Nine, Macrina, and other ones, Adams, who are here, who are moderators, we just try to keep it real, man. We're not getting no super chats. We're not getting likes. We're not getting views. Get a couple of, maybe get 100 subscribers a month, man, but we're not going to stop. And that's why I love that song. I thought I told you we wasn't gonna stop. We're not gonna stop because there's people out there like us, like you, who want to come in and dialogue about these things that matter to where our kids and other people need to have this insightful information growing up instead of just saying my dad, he just fusses and cusses a lot. D says they were considered an elite group. That's 100% right. I will do a show about it. So make sure you go by Deacon Mac's page. You see his name, subscribe. Make sure you subscribe because he's big at it and he's good. He is our host. Nine, are you there, big man?
Yeah,
But
you can
you
hear me
okay?
now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. So we're talking about a secret society, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is a secret?
Anything that's kept from others and you don't want anyone to know.
So how can we so freely talk about a secret society? That just doesn't make sense to me. We're worried about the wrong things. A quick question for you. Our government, is allowing a powerful secret society who could do anything, and the government is just allowing them to be in existence.
Well, it's been that way. It's been that way, Nine. If you remember during slavery, they gave slaves the ability to be masons, right? But when something went down, what did they do to when that black man said, "Sir, I'm a mason just like you." Did it matter? No. And it's the same thing today. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you make sure that you as a man stand in a place of freedom so you can never be condemned for anything outside of who and what you are. That's my opinion.
But it's okay. Our
Let me
government
say this
has,
right quick.
Yeah.
Mike, I got you, big man. We're gonna subscribe to you, buddy. Thank you very much, Michael. Go ahead, Big Nine.
So some of these people in this so-called Illuminati are in the government, correct?
Oh, I'm not gonna say that, but I believe that. Yes.
Okay.
Let me express it like this. My
Mm-hmm.
son came home one day, and some people see my son. He's a rapper. All right, he got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of big things. And I said, son, why is it that you refuse to sign with a record label? He said, Dad, you got to sell your soul out. You got to do things. He said, you don't understand why young men today are not doing that anymore. He said, I'm not going that route. Do you know what you have to do to become a part of those selected group of elitists and those people? And when he broke it down to me, I said, I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you didn't. Michael says this. It's like reverse psychology. Did you get what he just said? Nine?
Yes, but now our government has a secret service, correct?
Yes, sir.
So in other words, we're really talking about the government.
That's where it starts. If you go to Washington and you look at the monuments and you look up at the roof, you'll see the handiwork of the Freemasons with the all-seeing eye and everything else. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
That's
but
where it started.
that's where we're really talking about the government, and we're attaching this mythical name to them and having people scared for what? It's just, for me, it's just not logical for people to worry about a secret. I'm not going to spend my life worrying about a secret. It just doesn't make logical sense to me.
Well, now let me tell you the narrative that's going to come behind this LeBron James thing, which no one is talking about. And forgive me for those who are Kobe Bryant fans, what I'm about to say. Everyone says that Kobe Bryant's death was all set up and it was going to be that way. And they showed a cartoon 6 years before, 7 years before his death that showed Kobe Bryant dying in a helicopter crash where kids say Kobe just crashed. So this and guess what they're going to do? They're going to they're going to contribute this to LeBron James' sacrifice for having to be taken away from the NBA now. He served his time. I'm telling you. Selling your soul is a literal like stunting your growth. Watch this, man. D Max say there are going to flood the internet so much information about you. Don't know what you believe. I'm telling you, hide in the open. I'm telling you, listen what they're about to say, Nine. It's about to come out now that LeBron James paid a price to be LeBron James, and now it's time for him to be executed
But
because he received everything he was. Man, there's so much demonic stuff going on. It's sad. Go ahead.
yeah, but this is the thing. I usually try to stand on the side of logic, so I can't go with anything I feel is mythical that caused something. I have to go with logical. It has to make sense to me. Something I
Facts.
feel and touch.
Facts.
So if I don't see that, I just can't say, oh, this is demonic, this is this. I can't. We can't look for something mythical that's affecting us when we should be in control of who we are. You know, let's block out all that outside stuff and deal with who we are.
But Nine, don't you feel like it's because we as a people, now let's get back to this part of it. We as a
Yeah.
people don't have vision and direction. And when you don't have vision and direction, you always look outside trying to find a way and an easier way to get where you're trying to go. So you'll believe any and everything, and they can sell you a pipe dream that doesn't exist. Then you have internet elitists who are on here every day now fighting each other. You got 40 and 50-year-old gangbangers. Then you got into heat cloud chasing, sheet cloud. Who cares about all that? Man, what are we going to do for the people, the truth? What is the reality? That's why I ask questions. And here's the problem. We're too busy saying, yeah, you're right. Yeah, man, I agree with you, man. But knock that other one. I don't care about him. No, when are you going to ask a question? Okay, if we're going to do this, how are we going to do it? What is it going to take? Who's involved? Where's it going to happen? Why is it coming out now? And how will we make it work together? Those things we're not considering or dealing with anymore. Yeah, you're right. And the funny thing about that, Mike, is this. This is no joke, man. I listened to LeBron once he passed Kobe that night, and he spoke as though Kobe Bryant had already died. I'm telling you, this is no joke. I told my wife, I say, babe, why is he speaking like Kobe is dead? Then the next day, what do we hear? Kobe Bryant just died. So what they're trying, the conspiracy say that these brothers to get to this level of what Michael Jordan talked about, the corporate elitists selecting these individuals, there had to be a blood offering. Do I know that? Am I saying that's the right stuff? No. TB1 says, I'm not I'm not giving you my opinion on that, TB, but you hit a hammer, you hit the nail in the head, bro. And he said that on Oprah Winfrey show. He said that, not me. Watch what he says. He says, and the Mockingbird is a large scale program of the U.S. CIA that began in the early years of the Civil War. True, and attempted to manipulate news media for proper and with propaganda. They don't say if it is stopped, and you're 100% right. Guess who's doing that now? Russia's doing it during the time of political elections. Russia does that. They send individuals over here and get on social media and have them fighting against one another. A lot of people who give super chats to these channels are bots, or they're people from other countries to make you feel good about what you're doing against another man, so you'll keep doing it. Man, Mike, y'all on it, man. Y'all on it. Let me see where we were. Y'all on it, man. I'm telling you. It's funny to how everyone just keeps talking about LeBron, but nothing about Beyonce, J Lo, or Tyler. You're right, bro, and I don't want to hit people upside the head, but you're 100% correct. Go ahead, Nine. You got something else, bro?
Yeah, it's we just need to hear more. We really, really need to hear more. But if it's smoke, it's usually fire.
Right.
You know,
I've heard
so
that. I've heard that before.
if it's smoke, so I want to hear more because this is interesting.
But see, here's the problem. But see, here's Nine. Here's the problem with that. Who's going to go out and make the smoke a reality? Now that's where the problem comes in. If the authorities have not done it yet, now you're going to find individuals who are instigators, and they're going to make it a reality. They're going to go. They're going to go Photoshop pictures. They're going to go do all this stuff to discredit this man, discredit this woman, and it's going to get out of control. I'm telling
but
you.
sometimes there's smoke and sometimes there's fire, and there are a lot of people who will tell you, "Hey, I don't see nothing and ain't nothing burning."
And because they were, and what we meant Nine, what were we taught as kids? Turn your head. That ain't none of your business. Don't you pay attention to it. Isn't it amazing the value that we grew up with kids no longer exists? You got kids who are nosy now. Kids who are running around checking you out. Like if you go back in YouTube, the helicopter crash of Kobe, the little kids pulled up and said, "Oh, we got his helicopter just crashed," and that's way before he died. Are these things illusion? Are these things not facts? Is something really going on that we can't see? I like what TB said. He said, no, he didn't. Those ain't horns. That's a crown. I got you, big man. And you're 100% right. I watched Janet Jackson do it. He said a lot of these stars, they do what? They speak in code. Late night. That's right. And there's things that you will never know that's thrown off. Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of time you see people speaking codes, you could catch it because I saw the LeBron stalker and Mark Cuban speaking code one time on ESPN.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And somebody just said something that's so true. If you want to see the Illuminati, go back to Dennis Rodman, Madonna, and all those people who just became overnight sensations. 100%.
And I personally can't agree with that statement
Why?
because we're really talking about the government.
Yeah, because they're in
We're
charge of
talking
everything and they know everything.
we're
Watch this.
talking about the government, but we're talking about the government and attaching a name to it. It could seem even bigger than reality, and I just can't rock with stuff like that, because for you to make the Illuminati make sense, a secret society, in any conversation, you would have to attach your opinion to that name to actually make it make logical sense.
Well, let me ask you a question. How did Bill Cosby go to jail and end up out of jail?
That isn't that the government?
That's what I'm asking you. He wanted to buy a television state. He
I,
wanted to
I,
buy a He wanted to
but
buy a television company, and guess what happened? DMAX says the murder of Jeffrey Einstein is not proof 100%. No one talks about it. You know why? Because all the ones who are at the top are part of the government, which rolled on down to the elitists in the entertainment industry. Oprah Winfrey, her people. Watch this. Stedman is nothing. D-Mac and myself talked about it last week. Stedman is nothing but an example to show you that Oprah has credibility. But listen how many rappers and other people say they
okay,
ran up in Oprah. Come on, man.
okay. Is that name just a smokescreen so you could separate the government from another entity so the government's hand doesn't look that dirty?
Hey, let me say thank you to Andre Garcia for the super chat, man. Appreciate it. Say it again.
Is
Say it
that
again.
just is the Illuminati just a mythical name to separate, to basically keep the government hands clean when they're doing stuff, so you have another entity to blame instead of seeing how dirty their hands really is?
Well, let me ask you a question. Is the devil not real? Is he real? Or is that something given to us to keep us separated from negative people?
Well, religion, I do not get into religion
Right, I got you. Let me
because
read this comment right quick, Nine. Let me read
yeah,
this comment. We need to see proof. That's what DMAC is talking about. People out here trying to get attention. Kwame Brown attacks many. He was trashed as the number one pick. I'm not going to go there. Now he has a platform. And that's what it's all about, man. I would rather build great men, great people, great fathers without having to tear someone down. We can meet here every week, talk, dialogue, and I guarantee you to come up with greatness, Andre. And I believe in what we're doing as people, because there is a wrong way and a right way, is what Nine is talking about. And if Illuminati is for everyone and gives you a guarantee of success, why is not everyone doing it? The Clinton Foundation in Haiti was ex trafficking. I didn't want you to say that, D. I know that, but you go ahead and bring it out there. So you're gonna have to deal with it when they talk about it. Everything deals with government, man. Look at what happened with Osama bin Laden. He gave all that money to the Bush campaign, and then our president, our brother, went and killed him.
and this is
Look
how
at
I would.
Look at Oliver North and what happened with all that. We sold guns with the Iran Contra, and then what we do, we end up putting our own people against the gun and confusing and accusing them for wrong when the government did it and sent them over there. Good looking out, Tim. I'm
This
telling
is
you.
how this is how I see it, Big J. This is how I see it. Instead, we point the fingers at who the finger need to be pointed at. We always want to deflect and blame somebody else. And I just, man, this is government. This ain't no Illuminati. This is the government's doing.
But
Why
watch this.
we
But
trying to keep
nine, but
their
nine, nine, nine. Hasn't the government always had a system of secrecy when they killed? What's that lady's name? The lady who dripped Marilyn Monroe. When Kennedy had Marilyn Monroe killed and had her car go off the side of the road, doesn't the government have its little dirty secrets that they don't want to know, that they don't want anybody to know about? When they heard Ford, not Ford, but when they heard Nixon, wasn't that a little dirty secret? They're going to always be there. When they had Malcolm X killed, that was the FBI, and they're probably listening to us right now. Let me chill out.
yeah. But now This where I'm getting at. If we keep
You're right, Malcolm.
blaming somebody else instead of who needs to get the blame, then they could keep doing their crimes. Because
Because you
we're
can't fight the government,
blameless.
man. You can't fight
Huh?
the government. We can't fight the government. You know that, and I know that. They
Okay.
have control. They control where we live. They control what we eat. They
Okay.
control what we drive. You don't believe that?
Every so-called secret society, what are they afraid of the most?
To being exposed.
No, the people.
That's the point. Being exposed to the people. Yes.
They're afraid of the people. So when the people not aiming at who we need to aim it at, and going to this mythical Illuminati, this secret, that secret, that secret, that alleviates the pressure from who the pressure needs to be on.
Well, see, the problem, Nine, is we always want to be connected to everybody. And that's the problem. That's how they pimp us out. That's how they use us. That's how they got these brothers online arguing with each other. Why? Economics. Let me pull a dot. Let me tell you something, man. When I heard Country Wayne say this, man, I earned $300,000 a month. When I heard Country Wayne say that, I say it's about to get crazy. Do you not know a lot of these brothers who go online and do this rant and the rates and all that stuff? They put that stuff together behind scenes like a skit for people to buy in it, to them to send $100, $200 super chats. Watch this. I got a friend, one person who's online, not a friend. He said, man, I got this white guy who sent me $1,000 super chat. No, you don't. What you have is someone that you built a YouTube account to get more people sending you money, especially white zaddy. So then what you do is you go in there and you play your own people and you play the image when somebody's giving you a super chat. That's not a reality. Because why? We as people always want something controversial. We always want something indifferent. So what does the government do? They used to redline us, put us all together. They're going to keep us divided. Why? Because we are a divided people. Bill Clinton Foundation, yes. Go ahead, Nine. I'm sorry.
But when anytime you mention business, I'll always have a different take because I cannot go against a good business model, regardless of if it's moral. I just can't. Is a good business model.
Well, we have one in the room right now, given by Michael Cook. Oprah Schools, he say, was used for. It was a great business for what she did in Africa, but it was used to sex traffic young girls. Is that still a great business model? Along
Now,
with Epstein.
just think about it. There's no morals attached to money.
Thank you.
No morals at all attached to money. Because you could have the worst person in the world making money, but indirectly they're feeding 1,000,000 people. And those 1,000,000 people is going to tell you that's a great person.
Facts. 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 And see, here's what's going to make the difference. You see how we all came together with one understanding and we met. At first, it started off kind of rough, but then we all started to dialogue and we're finding common ground. And that common ground allows us to focus on what's really going on and what the narrative changed and it segued and it shift. And we are finding out that we as a people need to come together and stop all these things which are not going to enhance who and what we are. We have business leaders on this dialogue right now. We have professionals on this dialogue right now. I'm sure if you work in a specific industry that you can help somebody on here who needs a specific help in a certain area. And see, that's what we're not doing. We're too busy dealing with individuals' beefs and helping them go to the level that they need to go to. Do you not know that there's people in this live right now who help kids every day? And nobody's going to talk about it. My boy D-Mac does. He's a counselor for young people. See, and Nine owns a business. I can say that because I'm not giving his real name. So what happens is we need to give these individuals credit because we meet here not to bash each other. We meet here to become selective about what we know will change our communities. That's just my opinion.
But we can't put our moral expectations on anybody else. I look at this beef as just entertainment to get likes, view, and money. It's a business. We
Facts.
have to look at it as only a business. We can't attach our morals to somebody else's business. I don't care what nobody do, as long as they're not affecting us. Because at the end of the day, whatever any YouTube personality is doing, it doesn't affect our life. Now, it might affect you indirectly because you own the station and they might be poaching your views. So now I can understand why you will have a different take than I have. But I'm just looking at it as entertainment. Some of it is quality entertainment, and some of it I don't care for. But you pick and choose who you want to be entertained by.
Wow, you're right. And there's some great comments in this room. Let me go back up, and they're all saying the same thing. D-Mac starts and says the position of the Democrat and Republic has switched parties ever since 1865. 100%. You're on your stuff, man. Michael Cook, Big J. Go watch Edward Snowden. He outed the government about the government spying on us, then had to move to Russia. 100%. There's so much going on that Trump exposed with Russia and us, man. People don't even know. There's things happening right now set to set us apart and destroy us. And people don't even know because we're too busy becoming subservient to other people's channels, or like Nine just said, who give us entertainment. We get off work, we want to be entertained. That's why I love the movie The Gladiator. Are you not entertained? Am I not giving you what you want? No, I don't have time for that, man. I'm too old. We have kids and other people who need to hear some truth. We here all have truth. That's why one day I would just love to have a panel of everyone coming in, man, so we can just talk about what we have to give to each other. No one does
I
that. I, Go ahead, Nine.
I have a question for you because DMAC brought up Democrat and Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
You've owned a business for a long time, correct?
Yes, sir.
Under which regime does your business prosper the most?
I'm Bush.
Hmm?
The
Republican.
second Bush. That's why I
Republic.
said the second Bush. Republican, yes.
Republican.
Right,
Now,
let me tell you why I say that because one
mhm,
time the Democratic Party didn't understand what businesses need, smaller business need to order to exist, which are not part of the socio-economic understanding of the blue collar worker. And because they don't understand that, yes, the Republican Party. Am I saying I'm Republican? No. But what I'm saying it comes to taxation and other things to why they broke away from the British government. 100%. Go ahead.
now let's go back because DMAC will know this as well as I know this. Do you know Obama cut funding to the HBCUs?
Yes.
Who restored it?
Yes.
Who restored it?
I I don't know. Tell me.
Trump restored it.
Yes. 100%. Now I don't. Yes.
You know,
Yes.
so and now I'm just, you see, I don't care who is who,
Right.
because me, this is who I am. I
Right.
can't follow no man.
Right.
It's just not in my DNA. I just
Right.
can't.
Right.
So when I look at stuff, even when I talk, there I have zero emotions attached to when I talk,
Mm-hmm.
or any discussion. There is no emotions involved. I'm just speaking.
Right.
With the Democrats, when they say, this is the popular what people rally around. Oh, they're gonna raise taxes on the rich. That's not good because
Right.
it's gonna hurt the economy. Not only that, it's actually promoting illegals because now
Well,
if
see,
you're raising taxes, I gotta hire a cheaper labor force.
Nine. That's because people don't understand. And let me support where you're going. I said I did not vote for Barack Obama. And people basically went off on me, didn't like me, didn't want to talk to me. But what they didn't understand is I support him as an African American male who is versed in understanding from Harvard and understands economics. But what I did, and I understood that only 2% of the federal government would support him. And I knew because he would not get support, it would hurt our community, whereby I took initiatives to support those in government who I knew had the funding and the power to help the community. We must understand the president is only operating based on the 2% of Americans in this country who own it. The government does not own the country. It is the two
I,
percent of
I'm happy
Americans.
you mentioned. I'm happy you mentioned that. Question for you: when you said you didn't vote for him, did people call you a coon?
Yes, because they
Okay,
don't understand
okay,
economics.
okay. Now let's go back. What is the definition of a coon?
It was supposed to be a black man without direction. Did you hear me?
I heard you. The word coon, in order for it to make sense, people have to attach their opinion of what they want it to mean to relate to you.
Facts.
You see, a lot of people talk stuff and don't even research what they're talking about. Most most of the English language, you have to attach opinions to it to make sense. The word cannot stand alone.
Facts.
And people don't take the time to notice that, man, this word don't stand alone. I got to attach this to it to make it make sense. I have to attach this to this to make it affect you. The word cannot stand alone.
Well, see, nine. I'm gonna answer this question from the sister, but nine. See, what that problem then it causes us to have to deliberate and think about things and follow and make decisions based on evidence. There are not a lot of people like we talked about this young lady. A lot of people don't want to do that, so that's why they deal in the court of public opinion. Oh, you're sellouts. You're this and that. You didn't vote for our man. I say, do you understand that if the federal government, the way it's made up in its three-tier system, does not support the black president, it's going to be worse on you? Do you not
And,
understand that it's not about Obama? It's about the support that he gets from the House of Representatives and the Senators. If the Senate and the House does not stand behind him, we are in trouble. But because people like the court of public opinion and don't study the facts, we're easy to say like LeBron James did it or this young lady is lying. Well, we have to go back to the policies and procedures to understand what's really going on. And most people don't want to do that.
and here we go again. What is a sellout? What is the definition of sellout?
I don't know, brother. I just
It
heard people
cannot
call other
it
people it.
it cannot stand alone.
Facts, facts,
It
facts.
it cannot stand alone. And we get emotional about stuff that, if you really break it down, it doesn't have the meaning people say it has the meaning. Is they attach the meaning to what they wanted to say, but it truly cannot stand alone. And
Because it's a
that's why I don't get emotional about a lot of stuff, because if you could break it down, then
because
it loses its value.
Because what happens is it's a personal derivative of a person's feeling based on their emotions, but it has no substance to it. And everything that I like to deal with has to have substance. So when you come to this channel, some days I'm all over the place, but you'll still find substance. Substance is not sitting up arguing against another brother because what he or she believes. But when you take a channel of individuals who are in this room, and I'm able to go through and look what everyone is saying, and we're able to dialogue and come together with the means or an understanding how we can produce value with each other, then that's what YouTube is supposed to bring. But when
You,
we have individuals now who are trying to diminish and demise each other, it will never happen. Whereby you'll have somebody called sellouts, Uncle Sam, a coon, whatever.
you know what? You could be all over the place, but you still driving to the same destination.
Facts.
just like I could take the long way, I could take the short way, I could go straight, I could take all kind of turns. As long as you're headed in to the destination, is still very valuable. A lot of times people will want you to be all over the place because it prolongs the conversation.
Right, 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 right,
Instead of, oh, this stream is over. Nobody wants
right,
that.
right,
So
right,
it has to be beef in the stream in order for people to understand and gravitate to it. They don't want you, oh, this is my point, one word answer. No, no, that's not how it works. They want you
right.
to
What you
drive all
say?
over the place.
Right. What you're saying is suggested dialogue to where we can all come to the same medium, but there has to be the dialogue. And at times it causes beef. But as long as we come to reason together and get an understanding, I agree. Let me read this comment here. And I really like what he says because there's a lot of factual information behind it. Trump, another one like Kanye, they are in the game with the elites. It's like playing chess 100%. That's why they're forever sitting there seeing who's going to come out first and make the same move just because they can't figure it
But
out.
why are we so consumed with who is in the so-called Big J? It just doesn't make a logical sense to me. Now, everybody has their own facts, and everybody's facts should be heard. But me personally, I just don't see the infatuation about us worrying about this person is elite, this person is in this group. It's not logical to me because at the end of the day, did the elite stop you from getting a car? Did they
No,
stop you?
but the thing is, nine is relative, and I'll tell you why. There are some that are elitists who are on YouTube, and their job is, man, like Malcolm X, is to conquer and to destroy, to keep people divided. So we do have to know who those individuals are. Let me deal with this next comment right quick. He said voting is pointless. I'm gonna tell you why you're right on that and why you're not right on it. And this is my opinion. Number one, our votes don't put the president in office. Can anyone type in the room or you want to state nine who puts the president in office? It is the
It,
electoral college.
yeah,
The electoral college puts the president in office, and it's based on the states and how many votes each state has. Rhode Island gets the most votes because it's a small state. So when you look at Virginia, Rhode Island, all of those 13 colonies, they have the most votes. But yes, you're right. Our votes don't put the president in the office, but I'm not going to say that they're pointless because when they stack up and when you have the electoral college, they do matter.
but it does matter when you're talking about your local government. That's where it really does count, and you can
And
make.
that's what I was going to say. Yes. Yes. 100%. When it comes to government, it's the electoral college. But everyone should take part in their local state assembly and their government because whoever you put as your senator and put in office to represent you will matter. Because if not, your state will suffer, especially if there is a weak governor or if the governor has passed down through time of family generations and those individuals don't have anyone in mind but themselves. So when it comes to local government, yes, it mattered. But someone
And
asked the
it
question.
it's
Go ahead.
it's also judges and like the police chief. We can't leave those two very important people out.
Facts. Let me say this. I want to tell you why government is important. I mean, voting is important. When you were growing up or you saw certain things, and we learned this from the streets, anything that the man didn't want you to take from his store without paying for was valuable to him. So the same thing with voting. Why would they kill you, hang you, and try to stop you if it didn't mean anything? Why did they say you couldn't do it? Why wasn't women allowed to vote until the 60s when they came out of suffrage? That's telling you that when there is a united group of people on a front, guess what? Voting does mean something. Watch this. When you have LeBron James and this young lady, If it goes to court, there's going to be a vote of 12 jurors, and that vote's going to determine whether or not he's guilty or whether she lied. So voting is tremendous, and you have to have credible sources. But as far as your local government, if you don't get in there and vote, you don't know who you're going to have leading your community. And see, that's what most people. If you ask individuals who's your local representative, oh, I don't know. Well, something happens, you better know. Because what happens is those individuals represent you. It's not about them, they represent you. And they have to answer that phone anytime you call because you matter. Yes, your local vote does matter. They have to answer your call. They have to talk to you. If you have a problem with your rent, with your home, with your mortgage, this is what these people for. If you're having problems with your school district, do you not understand? I live in California, and California is the biggest state with the lottery funding. The schools are not getting the money because they don't know how to go back in and say, you know what? My school qualifies for that funding, and I don't care that I live in a system of apartments and there's no taxation. We want our money. But the only way you're going to know that, you have to put the right people in there to fight for you.
I got a question for you, Big J.
Go ahead,
It's gonna
Nine.
change the subject a little bit,
Go ahead, Nine.
but I really want to hear your answer. Should coding and trades be in public schools?
Let me help you out with something. And this is what I hear all the time. And I'm not against Kwame Brown, but I'm going to give you my opinion on it, being 57 years old, who took wood shop and who took electronics. What's going on, Adam? Yes, 100%. 100%, Adam. I'm going to leave it up so people can read it. Here's my perspective. A lot of people don't know the name Walter Mondale. Walter Mondale was the president of these United States many years ago. And Walter Mondale was known for giving those from social economic poor backgrounds, just giving them anything and didn't make them work for it. And that hurt African Americans in this country. Let me explain something to those who don't understand coding and trades. Coding and trades were not made for African Americans. It started in the privileged community to where those students, white students, could not attend college and become successful, whereby they put trades in those schools for those white students to learn skills. Watch this now. It's called tracking. And what the tracking system did, it tracked kids to say who went to college and who could not go to college, whereby they would dump more money into those privileged neighborhoods. But then, like we said, votes don't matter. They did, and they still do. A group of minorities got together and said, listen, there are Hispanic kids who are coming to this country and they're learning to work trades with their families and they're learning how to build things and they are great in agriculture. They're not going to school. But then certain laws came about that said that kids had to be in school and they could no longer work with their parents because of safety rules and regulations. So then now all the inner city schools to where there were economics, they didn't have the economics. They started wood shop, cooking class, electronics, auto mechanics to give these kids a trade. So when they got out of school, they knew how to go about getting jobs. Well, see, there was one problem that nobody's talking about. And I'm going to deal with it in a minute with a business that the wife and I own. One thing that nobody talked about was this. A lot of those kids dropped out of school and only went to school when it was time for the trade classes. How come no one talks about that? A lot of those kids just say, you know what? Man, I ain't going to school to sixth period to wood shop. I'm not going to school to seventh period or to whatever period was to electronics. I'm only going to economic classes. Let me tell you why I say that. In 2001, George Bush came out with something called No Child Left Behind because now trades are being taken out to school. All right. And so what happens is when No Child Left Behind, it says that your child can find a community center after school that's funded by the government and will pay for it and will teach your kids the balance of education that they're missing during the day. I was one of the individuals in LA who my wife and myself, who happen to own one of those centers. But let me tell you what I found out, nine, that blew me out the water. So when I looked at the numbers of trades, I began to believe that African American kids, only a handful were taking advantage. Nine, I had 52 computers. Out of those 52 computers, 96% of them were Latino students with their parents after school in my building. The 4% were African American kids whose parents dropped them off and never showed back up until it was time to pick them up. But I promise you, at the end of each one of those Latino kids' hour and their time was up, they would come to me and say, Mr. Johnson, can I show my parents what I learned on my system? Do you know what they were doing, Nine? They were actually teaching their parents who were illiterate and didn't know. Did that make sense? So guess what the government said? Hey, you're not taking advantage of trade classes anyway. It's a waste of money. So what are we going to do? We're going to put another system in place to where after you graduate, see, because what's happening is you're not going to class. So what we're going to do, we're going to put a system of tests in each state school. For me, it was called the rights, the sharp, and the topics. Now, when you pass these classes, you graduate. And then they put a system after graduation to where you still could get trades. But you would now, since you're an adult, they would send you to a trade school. Guess what happened? Guess who was going? Latino kids. Our kids wasn't going. Out of kids of 500 where I went and San Pedro Wilmington Skills Center, there were only 5 black students. Everyone else was Latino. That's not something
But
I'm making up.
you still didn't answer the question. You drove around my question, Big J. Did a good job navigating around it. Do you think it should be in public schools?
No, no. And I'm just telling you, I'm being honest. I think parents have to become involved with their children. I'm sorry. You can drop
And
a kid off. You can drop a kid off, but that don't mean that kid's going to stay in school. That doesn't mean that kid's going to go do something else. Those kids who are successful, I put my daughter through USC trying to get her master's degree with no money. I just had the ability to trust and to walk in faith. If I and I don't come from a background of money. So guess what? It all depends on what's being taught in the family. I sent my and I'm answering your question. I sent my 5-year-old grandson down because he's smart, just like his mom or my daughter. And what do I do? Hey, Jameer, come here, let me talk to you. What, granddad? Let me tell you something. There's something called binary numbers. That's only 0 and 1. That equals, what do they equal, grandson? On and off. And what is that for? Syntax within the system. How does a 5-year know that unless every time I find a teachable moment, I'm imparting? So do I want the school to do it? No, because there's too much that goes on in schools now to where schools are not the same. Most schools was in California are what we call P5 schools for minority kids, to where the state has had to come in and take them over. So do I want trading in those type of schools? No way. How you gonna tell an
okay,
elitist? How watch this? How you gonna tell an elitist high school who has great basketball program and football? Now what we're gonna do? We're gonna diminish that for trading. See, because you're gonna
but
watch this. Nobody's talking about this, Nine. You can only have either one. Because remember, they took a lot of money out of sports. So now if you bring trading back, guess what's gonna suffer?
this is why I disagree, and I think it should be in school. Now I could tell you why it was taken out of school. The real reason it was taken out of school, you own a business, you should know the answer, is liability issues. That's why
Hmm.
it was taken out.
Insurance, right? But there were other reasons too.
Yeah. But now
Because what can watch this, Nine? What can be more liable than sports though?
yeah, but this is why I say yes. This is the reason I say yes. Do you know there was 2 Americans who got arrested for helping in the assassination of the Haiti president?
No, I didn't know that.
2 white Americans.
Wow.
Now, would you rather your tax dollars go to that, or your tax dollars be spent on trades in schools?
Trades in school, but you're still missing my point. We're trying to
No,
put the
no, no,
school
no,
system.
no. No, I got your point. I'm not saying you right. But I'm saying we could force the government to spend the money, even if it's not working how we want it to work, but maybe they couldn't fund those 2 guys who went to Haiti. Maybe they couldn't fund building this big bomb to go test on somebody. So we have to monitor the tax dollars. We can't just say no, 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 no. And then at the end of it, we don't care where the tax dollars go.
But it's not just tax. But watch this. It's not just tax numbers. It's the grade and the system of education. The government are not giving money to schools that are suffering. So watch this. They've cut sports. They cut a lot of things. Coding is not, trades are not going to come back in. Now, coding will because it's already there. In most affluent white schools, kids are coding in first, second, and third grade because it's no big deal. But because you can get an iPad and do it, which every schools now have those things, because now you have companies like Apple and Microsoft who are giving those things away as write-off to schools within the government. But trades to where you got to build a wood shop, you got to bring these back, that's not going to happen. Trust me, it won't happen because they got rid of those programs for a reason. The number one, the kids' grades were suffering. That's why they came out with those tests. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Trades no because of liability. It's not because of its effectiveness. It's just because of liability. Now, with coding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would it help in the schools?
Yes, they're doing it already. And this is the thing that's getting me. Individuals saying we need to bring it back, but they're doing it already. Let me help you out with something. And I'm going to come to you in a minute, Adam. Let me help everyone who's left in the channel out with this. All right, because what happens is this. I live in California. We have the lottery like everywhere else, right? When you come from impoverished neighborhoods, this is what Kwame doesn't talk about, Hassan doesn't talk about. That's why I can't get into their narrative. Money is given to each school district based on property tax. You know that, Nine. I know you know that.
Yeah.
So if you have where all the African American kids live and there's apartments that don't pay property tax, they're already disqualified. That's why the teachers suck. That's why the system sucks. But when it comes to coding to those kids who parents pay property taxes, it's already in the schools. That's why I put those links on my site, on my YouTube, so parents can go on there and get that free coding training. See, here's another thing I said, Nine. If we're really worried about coding and really starting it, where's the list at? Who's created the website so we can start a petition to take it before the government? Where are we just talking or are we about it? See, if that's the case, where are all those things at? See, I don't want to talk about it. I want to be about it. Who started the petition? Where's the website that somebody developed? I don't get super chats. Watch this. Hold on. I don't get super chats. I don't get super stickers. But I know I can go develop the website if that's what we want to come together and do. That I can put online petition on there. But I feel the guys who are talking as much should be the moderators of it and the ones who do it.
Now, what's the easiest way? Well, the easiest way to start a business, Big J, is by exposure. Correct? If you were exposed to something,
same thing is called marketing. Yes,
you're going to start something in that field because you were exposed to it.
It's called marketing, 100%.
You know, so I'm looking at it like this. First of all, I always go back to the tax dollars, but you also know that in the Black community, we get the worst education. And we've always found a way to turn the worst education into something successful.
And that's what I'm telling you now. We can do that now. We still have the worst education because we don't have dollars in our community, because our community, the grass is brown, not green. So what am I saying? Unless there's tax dollars, we can forget it. The government gives those. Billie Holiday had a song, God bless the child that's got his own. And that's the truth. And that's what they're doing. You go to Palos Verdes and then you come down to Compton and you tell me what's the difference. Some kids in both districts are fundamentally sound and educated. But what's the difference? Apartments, no taxes. Homeowners, taxes. And you're going to get the brand new books. You're going to get the brand new computers. You're going to get all of that because your parents, your mom and dad pay taxes. Yours don't. So there's a lot being talked about on YouTube that's just basically condescending. And when I listen to it, I don't have an opinion, but people are talking out the side of their heads without knowledge. You have to put fund money and funnel money into schools. That's when you can't just say we're gonna have coding for all our kids. All our kids need coding. Wait a minute. Who's funneling the money into the schools? If you say it's not the athlete's responsibility, it's not the church's responsibility, and the government say we ain't gonna do it because your test scores are horrible and the schools are P5, so then this notion is false. I'm not saying that it won't work and it's not good, but it's false because what business owners are willing to come together and funnel several $1 million a year for kids who are not some who won't even show up to school. See, they don't want to talk to me. That's why they don't talk. They want trust me. I told somebody the other night, man, I debate with you. I come with you. You know why? Because no one wants the people to know the truth, and the truth will set you free. But let me read this comment from Adam. Adam said a lot of schools are trying to indoctrinate our kids as a parent. It's our responsibility to teach your kids right from wrong and let our kids put God first before anything. You want to know why you're right, Adam? I used to work at a school that no teacher wanted to work at. And you know what they told me? We'll pay you double and a half if you come work out here. And it's called combat pay because we can't get people. We can't get teachers to come here and work. So when you come here and sub or when you come here and work, you're going to get double pay. So instead of 180 a day, you're going to get 260 a day. Does that make sense? So we can't tell our parents you're losing money and you can't have books and other things because you have to pay you have to pay the teachers double to come teach in your community because the kids are out of control. See, now there's a lot of things that these individuals don't know about, man, because they don't know the matrix and they're not talking about it. So when I hear them telling parents and people this stuff on YouTube, I just cringe. Oh no.
But are we looking? We're looking at it like when they speak, they're speaking for everybody. No, they're speaking for a select group of people, and I personally know some of those people they're talking about. But people who went to college, they don't listen to rap music like that. Even if they listen to it, they don't think of it as a lifestyle. It's just entertainment. It's affecting the lowest of the low. Most of this what's going on is directed at the lowest of the low. And I look at it, my opinion is it's just they're just paying back for the runaway slaves, round them up and put them in jail. That's my opinion about the subject, and that's who I think it's directed at is the descendants of the runaway slaves.
Wow, I watched what D-Mac just said. He just said this. The government here in Texas passed a vote 18-4 that critical race theory can't be taught in Texas school. And that's good. That's very good because what it does, it gives everyone the freedom or the equal right to say that I'm just important. So that's amazing, D. Thank you for telling us that. Because I'm going to say it again when people don't know where they come from, they don't know where they're going. But from a perspective of right and wrong, there's none. It's all up to the parent to say, this is who you will be. This is what you will be. If you don't do it, I'm going to whoop your butt. But you got kids now who telling the parent, I'm going to whoop your butt. We have a systematic problem and no one really understands it. And it has nothing to do with white people. It just has to do with economics and those who are willing not put the dollar back into the community to invest. Because now I'm not going to do it. I'm not supposed to do it. That's your community. That's your issue. But I do want you to do this for me. I want you to give me super chats. I want you to do this. No, man. Let's get together and collaborate. Let's put our heads together because what D-Mac and myself was talking about, we've done all this already. What these cats are talking about doing, we've done it, but that's too scared and so scared. Somebody's going to ask them for $1. They won't reach back and say, man, I saw your show. I saw what you're talking about. Will you help me? Guess what?
But
So I'm not.
The true battle is really rich and poor. That's the true battle.
I would say that past, yes. When you're dealing with economics and you have to deal with the upper class, the middle class, and the lower class, and I won't say that's the battle now because we don't have a middle class. All we have is an upper class and a poor class. So then one dictates the other. So it's just a matter of where you want to be in a social structure. Well, how are you going to survive? What are you going to do? Like I was watching the old Living Color and how people today say get a job. Back then they used to come out and say, "Man, I got 5 jobs." One lady was in the hospital. He said, "Why are you here?" I'm about to have a baby. He said, "How many jobs you got?" She said, got one job." He said, "Get her out of here. She don't have enough jobs." So in other words, now it takes multiple streams of income to survive because of economics and inflation is no longer how it is. But we as individuals have to seek these numbers, get off of YouTube and seek to understand what's really going on and what could affect my family. A lot of people right now don't know it's a home market. It's a buyer's market right now because of COVID and other things. People are getting out. People are selling their properties. It's a trip. Let me see what D-Max says. That's good. That's great. D said he teaches critical race teaching theory to his children at home. That's right. The moment you expect the government to do for your kids, and the moment you expect the government to do for you, it's the same thing that we hated Walter Mondale for. Oh, we're gonna put you on food stamps. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Oh, we're gonna put you on this. I want somebody to give me a handout. Give me WIC. Give me this. No. Find out what you can do to become independent. And once
But
you
but that
find out those things, go ahead, D.
but that
I mean, go ahead,
that
now.
that's what they're doing right now. They're giving out money.
Yes, yes. And that's because how we've been. Ooh, I'm not going to say we've been trained, man. It's just because the way it is, bro. It's the system
You
we sit on
you know
We sit on television. We see it everywhere.
do you know in Saudi Arabia, as soon as you're born, they give you like 300 grand.
Yeah,
They
I know when you
basically
go to. Yeah, I know when out here you go to prison, they give you $250.
they yeah. But what they basically did is basically bought the people, and now the people will never rise up against them.
That's right. D flat money. That's right. 100%. 100%. Now, let me ask you a question. Why are people in India, Saudi Arabia, where schools suck, why are they the top technicians?
No. You saying schools suck is your opinion, because when I came to America, right,
Mm-hmm.
I was ahead. They told me I came from like a little country, and our curriculum was way ahead of what I was learning here.
Right. So,
So
no, what
so
I'm
we
saying
under
is
this
this.
illusion that we're number one, this and this. No, those little countries have great education system, and not only that, they have higher graduation rate because of their parents, because of the family
Say it again.
structure.
Say it again. That's all I'm saying.
So people want to make their family proud. They don't want their family to, their family have to be proud of them. That's how everybody is raised.
We're going to
You
hurry up and get
know,
off here in a minute. Let me say this, Nine. What is people don't know this? One of the biggest things right now that's going on in the world of technology and where kids are making it from overseas and they're staying at home and doing it is Fiverr. Anyone, if you don't know what Fiverr is, it's a place you can go to get anything you needed done on your social media platforms, right? And what these kids are doing, they're making a ton of money. See, individuals are talking about, watch this, man. I can show you right now at least 5 to 10 black minority kids who live with Afrocentric parents, and they're on YouTube who make big money. So we need to stop saying coding and trades. We need to find money to funnel in to these districts, to these schools, so then the kids can have those who want it can have better opportunity. We're talking about something because, like, we want to use a band aid to cover it up. No, we need economic dollars. We need dollars to come in that we're not getting because parents are not homeowners. Stop wanting to put a band aid on everything and go out. Let me tell you something, man. When I had my first business, you know what they told me? Man, before you get any funding, before you get money, we need to make sure that you're comfortable with what? Fundraising. Why do you think
but
they would tell me that, Nine?
but bringing awareness to a situation is always good, because once you bring awareness, sometime money will follow after.
And
So so that's why.
that's what fundraising does. Yes, bring awareness to the community that I'm here. This is what I do. This is what my wife does. This is what our center does. So we have to bring marketing awareness. And guess what? We're doing a lot of talking about coding and trades, but where is the ballot? Where is the petition? Where is the website that we go through to fill out to get on there? Where do I put my name?
Yeah, but Big
Or
J,
is it just rhetoric?
but you talking about, you can't expect all of this infrastructure to be set in place after 2 months.
No,
We
brother,
have to
that's some
also be
no, no, no,
realistic
no, no,
about
no.
it.
Nine. That is realistic. You can do that in one day. If you have all, let me tell you something. If you have 15, 20, 30,000 people who are coming on your live, wouldn't you agree that some of those people know how to do those things firsthand already? Maybe they're just not being asked to do it. Oh no, I don't agree with
I
that one, brother.
actually, actually, the people who know how to do it are already doing it.
And so that's why I'm saying, where's the website for the petition? That's standard. If you're going to do anything from a government level, you just don't talk about it, you be about it. And then if you have clout and you have money and you know people, then that should be done by before
But
you
but
open your mouth.
but
That should already
let
be done.
let's go back, Big J, because it'll go back to your tutorial this morning. Some people jump into something and try to figure it out as they go. And then some people, they'll do their research and cross their I's and cross their T's
Facts.
and dot their I's
Facts.
before they get into it. So we're
Facts.
looking at somebody who jumped into something,
You're right.
and that's why it's taking so
You're right.
long. And that's why I can't go against them right now. Now, 4 months from now, then I might be looking at this situation right now. But I know
Facts.
each side because I've been on each side. I've been in when I started a business, Big J, I didn't know anything about business.
Facts.
But I did every single thing. Put it this way. If you watch my growth in business, because I told people, hey, it's gonna go like
Yes.
this, you would think I was a psychic the way it worked out. It
Because you have
went
vision.
step. Yes, but some people just, they talk, they have a good voice, and they can have people rally behind them, but the substance isn't behind them because they didn't do their due diligence,
That's
you know.
facts.
So I
Facts.
can't go against somebody when I know, because I've seen people on every side,
Right.
and that's why I say, you know what, I can't cast judgment. I just want to stand back and see. Now,
Right.
4 or 5 months from now, and I see nothing happening, then I'll be like, man, this is crap, man. I can't rock with this.
Facts. Facts.
But
And
this
that's what
early in the game,
yeah.
I can't cast judgment.
And let me show you this nine, then we're gonna get off here. Let me read D Max first. D says stimulus checks are completely flat money with nothing behind it. It's true. You're just giving people a certain amount of money who don't know how to use it, who don't know what to do, and who don't understand the value of economics.
And who
100% correct, D.
and who's gonna keep wanting it? Keep wanting more.
And that's what's gonna happen until they start arresting people. watch watch this, man. We're gonna close. And it's not the reason I talk the way I do. Nine is because I know people won't admit it, but they come to the station and they do listen. How do I know that? When I listen to them, they're talking about some of the things that we've been talking about. So that tells me they're listening. So what I do is, when I know that that's the capability or possibility, what I do, I put out there what I want people to hear. So they'll say, oh, you know what? We need to get a petition started. Who can do a website? Who can do this? Who understands how to put a petition on the website? We need to get a 250,000 signatures. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not against anyone, but at times younger men need direction because they don't understand platitudes and how things work. So they need direction. So what do? Some people won't listen to you, so you invite them into the right direction because of your narrative.
And when you see you, and that's why I can't come down on somebody when I could clearly see there was a lack of direction.
Facts.
And that's why I
Facts.
can't cast judgment. And I'm just, let's wait and see.
Facts. Facts. Okay, Nine, everybody, we thank you for being on tonight. We're going to go ahead and get off. We will be back to update you on the LeBron James and the Miss Cap situation, so you'll know about it. I want to thank Nine for being on with us tonight. D-Mac trying to come on. You guys were both amazing. You presented great information and great facts. So we want to tell the listening audience, make sure that you subscribe to Big J, D-Mac, Nine, Let's Talk, because we want to bring you sports, truth, and information. Have a beautiful day. God bless.